Entertainer R. Kelly and his attorneys were back in court today. Two of those attorneys asked a federal judge in New York to release them from representing the R&B singer. They want off his upcoming sex trafficking trial scheduled for August. Now, in this letter filed in federal court on Monday by Chicago-based attorneys Steve Greenberg and Mike Leonard, it reads in part, "Our reasons for withdrawal are significant and it is impossible in our belief for us to be able to continue to properly represent Mr. Kelly under these circumstances." Joining me now is attorney Mike Leonard, fresh off his conference call hearing, which happened actually within the last hour. Attorney Leonard, thank you for joining us on BNC, and more importantly, thank you for speaking with us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So, briefly, you just wrapped that conference call up with the U.S. District Court Judge Ann Donnelly out of New York, asking for you and attorney Steve Greenberg to be removed as counsels in R. Kelly's federal racketeering trial, where the singer is charged with sex trafficking of women and underage girls. I understand she's holding off on a decision for now. So what exactly happened during that phone call?
Sure, it was a relatively brief hearing of about 10 or 15 minutes today, but we filed the motion under the local rules of that court. She wanted us to give her more detail, more explanation. So she's requiring us to submit something in writing to the court. We'll probably do that tomorrow. Most likely that'll be a sealed filing, meaning that it won't be on the public docket. It'll just be for the court's view. And she just wants some more to have us articulate the bases for our withdrawal. But I have every expectation that she will grant the motion to allow us to draw. And as she said, the trial date's set for August, and it's going to go.
And Attorney Leonard, in that letter that was filed in federal court, it ends with "under these circumstances." What are these circumstances?
Well, some of those I can discuss, and some of them I can't.
Of course.
As I said, it'll be a sealed filing. So some of the reasons or issues will not be public. But in general, as a trial lawyer, you have to have a comfort level that the case is going to be tried in the manner in which you want it to be tried by the people that you want to try it. And obviously, certain individuals who are trial lawyers will have to have certain roles at that trial. So ultimately, that's really the chief issue involved with this motion. Okay,
and there are reports, and you say comfort level. There were reports that the two new attorneys that were brought on, reports that one of you mentioned they were inexperienced in trial court.
Yeah, I don't know if we said that word, but clearly neither of them has ever tried a federal criminal case before. So I think that's maybe what you're referring to. I have no qualms with either of them as people. They're both great people. But clearly, as you can see from the public records, neither of them has ever tried a federal criminal case. So that's just something that's of public record.
Got it. And how many have you tried?
Lots and lots. So yeah, I was brought into this case, and it's a little bit different for me because Mr. Greenberg had the client relationship with R. Kelly, and so it wasn't my client to begin with. So I was brought in as a trial lawyer really for that purpose, because I had been on a very good run in federal court in terms of getting not guilty jury verdicts, which is somewhat unusual. So I didn't have that initial relationship with R. Kelly. It was Steve's relationship because of that. So it makes me in a little different position than maybe some of the other lawyers.
Okay, and now Mr. Kelly was expected to be on that call today. Did he speak?
Yeah, he was. He did speak briefly. What the judge always wants to do when a motion like this is filed, they want to make sure that the client is in agreement with it. So she had to ask him certain questions about whether he's in agreement with our withdrawal, that he wants to proceed with the other two individuals. He answered affirmatively he did. At one point, he indicated that he wanted to speak, and one of the attorneys who will be staying on the case wanted to question him. The judge kind of shot that down rather quickly, and just indicated to that lawyer that if they want to file something in response to our briefing with the court, they would have every right to do that.
And now you shared, there's documents that were shared publicly that it was either you or Greenberg who helped R. Kelly with reading certain court documents because he had some difficulty reading them himself. What's the relationship between you and R. Kelly now?
Well, it's
Is
hard to
there?
say going forward. Yeah, I mean, going forward, who knows? I mean, we're still involved in the Illinois federal case, so we haven't withdrawn from that case. I had a very good relationship with Robert, so I'd seen him in person at the MCC on numerous occasions. Had also spent hours on the phone with him, video calls. But the in-person meetings is where you really gain a relationship with somebody. So I felt like we got along great. Had a good relationship with him, and I wish the guy nothing but the best. It's a interesting story that will get to be told in full at trial, and it will be a nice opportunity for Robert to tell his story. But it really is an amazing sort of rags to riches story of a guy from Chicago who was literally playing music on the L underground.
Attorney Leonard, I want to
And
get one last question in with you. R.
sure.
Kelly's 54 years old, and obviously I know a client attorney privilege, there are certain things you can't talk about. But his bail has been denied multiple times. Do
Yeah.
you anticipate R. Kelly getting out of jail anytime soon, or prison, better yet, anytime soon?
Well, remember, he's in jail because he hasn't been convicted of anything, so he's not in prison. In terms of bail, he's not going to get bail given to him before the trial because that's already been denied. And, courts are very reluctant to release somebody right before trial. Not that he would go anywhere, but the theory being that that's when someone's most likely to attempt to flee. He would never do that. But since the motion's been denied, I don't think they're going to re-raise bail. What'll happen is he'll get taken from Chicago to New York, and he'll be confined in the jail in New York that they use for people who are on trial. And so he'll be there throughout the trial. Hopefully he wins and he won't be in jail anymore. But in terms of that, after that, hopefully he won't be in prison because he won't be convicted. He'll be found not guilty.
Attorney Leonard, thank you so much for joining us on BNC Live, sir. We appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today.
Hey, thanks a lot for your time. I really appreciate it. Take care.
Entertainer R.